I'm going to need you to come in, folks, because we got a lot to unpack in today's show, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot to unpack. First off, President Trump in the middle of a rally in South Carolina when an uninvited guest decided they were going to try and steal the show. The president stopped everything and, in true Trump fashion, handled the situation in a way only he can. Also, we have DSA figures caught on stream discussing violent revolution and how they plan on fundamentally taking over the country, while at the same time you have DSA leaders being exposed for some serious silver spoon socialist hypocrisy. And so we got a lot to unpack and get into. Let's start with President Trump stopping a rally after someone thought they were going to hijack the moment.
I'm going to be impeached. They're going to impeach me. They have no idea why. I saw today a congressman said on one of the shows, we're going to impeach President Trump. We're going to impeach. Oh, really? Why? The person was asking. A neutral commentator for a change. I like neutral commentators. Oh, I see. You're going to impeach him. Why? Well, I don't know. I don't know. That's all right.
Yeah, so the reason why you hear the crowd reacting like that, ladies and gentlemen, is because this woman, who I'm going to show you right here, she thought she was going to show up to a rally where President Trump was speaking, where there would be obviously a room full of supporters of President Trump. They're Republican voters, conservatives, individuals there who back President Trump and his agenda. And she thought she was going to get her 15 minutes of fame, you guys. She thought she was going to have her moment. I don't know what she thought. She thought she was going to rush the stage and be able to tell the president and give him a piece of her mind. Whatever it was, it got shut down quick. Check this out. Yeah, so they got her up out of there quick, fast, and in a hurry. And in true President Trump fashion, he responded only the way he can, ladies and gentlemen. He brought back the classic 2016 campaign rally staple. Take a listen to this.
That person's going home to mom, going to get scolded because mom is voting for us. You know, mom is voting.
Yeah, and so by now, people should know you don't want to try and cross the president, especially when you do something foolish, because he's quick with the comebacks and being able to, take a situation like this and turn it in his favor, get the crowd even more on his side, that sort of thing. But this event wasn't about hecklers trying to take advantage and have a moment to be able to hijack an event for their liberal purposes. No. This was an event taking place in South Carolina because there is currently a Republican runoff going where Trump is endorsing Darlene Graham. But along with that, this was President Trump reminding everyone, and even more so emphasizing the importance of Republicans getting out this November and making sure that they vote, making sure that they show up and they turn out, because understand, where the Democrat Party wants to take this country, because they've been taken over by the radical left, because now some might say they've been taken over by the radical left, but you know what? Let me correct that, because now their true colors have finally come out and they're using the excuse that the radical left are the ones who have taken over. This is who the Democrat Party has always been working towards becoming. And now they have finally the reason where they can fully embrace it. Let's say it like that, folks. And so President Trump is urging and reminding everyone, all Republican voters, that this is serious. November matters. Get out there and vote.
Said at the State of the Union, our country will never be a socialist country, right? Will never be. Well, and Thank you. No, I said our country will never be a socialist country, and I was 100% right. It's gone communist, okay? So they skipped, Tim, they skipped socialism. They went like this, forget socialism. They've gone head-on communist, not socialist. In fact, we're looking for some socialists. Are there any around, please? No, they've gone communist, but we're not going to let that happen. That I can tell you. It's never worked. In 1,000 years with different names, lots of different names, it's never worked. This is a group that stands for eliminating the United States Senate, replacing the presidency and the Supreme Court of the United States. And I'm happy with the Supreme Court today, very happy, okay? Defunding and abolishing the police. Amnesty for all illegals, including murderers and all other criminals, including ending our military.
And that right there is the bigger message that I believe President Trump is trying to send, not just campaigning for one candidate, but sending a message to Republican voters everywhere that you cannot sit on the sidelines come November because of what the Democrats plan and will do if they regain any level of power in the House and the Senate, whatever it is. The only objective that they have, as far as that they'll know they'll do, is to impeach the president. That's the only thing that they are sure that they can do as far as plans in the future. And listen, we understand that Democrats, they have no desire to do anything that will actually move the country forward while the president is in office. And so if they do regain any level of control in the House and the Senate, it's going to be a complete shutdown and attempt to just block his entire agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, the so-called Democrat Socialists of America, from the very beginning, they have been telling us exactly who they are. All you need to do is just listen. These are individuals who they hate this country while at the same time will take advantage and benefit from the very thing they say they hate. The capitalism, the ability to be able to afford and enjoy a certain type of lifestyle. And so get a load of this, folks, because while at the same time you got DSA members saying that, listen to this, they're going to take over this country with a violent revolution, you also have DSA leadership getting exposed for some serious champagne socialist hypocrisy. And so first, let's check this out.
We have seen that the Democratic Party establishment that we have has to be ripped out. We can actually start to grab hold of the ship of state and steer it in our direction, but it's going to be a violent process.
Our country needs to change, and this Democratic Party needs to change. I was more than glad to go on Hassan's stream. This is we need as Democrats, we need to go into these spaces.
Yeah, and so while you got the useless idiots, the members who decided to join the Democrat Socialists of America, is just members, dues-paying members who are all in on this sanitized communism. While that's going on, ladies and gentlemen, this is where it gets even more interesting. The leadership that is so against the billionaire class, but when it comes down to the lifestyle of the billionaire class, they sure don't mind splurging and enjoying it, ladies and gentlemen. Which brings us to embattled DSA leader Gustavo Gordillo, sued for eviction despite $1.5 million townhouse gifted by Rich Dad. This is what we've been talking about, ladies and gentlemen, with these silver spoon socialist hypocrites who they can afford to play revolutionary because mommy and daddy has a nice trust fund sitting for them to fall nice and cushiony on just when they mess something else up in life. One thing you start to notice when you look at the pattern of these DSA leaders, these individuals, that they are epic failures throughout their life with things they have tried and attempted to do. Whether it was Mom Donnie in the previous jobs he's had in his past, he tried to become a rapper, failed at that, and said, you know what, why don't I get this mayor thing a shot? These DSA leaders are individuals who they are champagne socialists. They're individuals who come from affluent, well-off backgrounds. Their parents, they are the children of these individuals, get to live and splurge off the lifestyle. We're going to get into this one, ladies and gentlemen, because it's unbelievable. And so, folks, let me just tell you a little bit about Gustavo, who decided one day that he's going to wake up and play radical leftist revolutionary. And how do you do that, folks? Well, it starts off with you basically lying, pretending like you're a blue collar worker by going out and getting an electrician's apprenticeship, but then never actually showing up on the job and doing any work. And so literally just trying to get the position so that way you can then say to the people who you're going to lie to, yeah, I'm a blue collar worker just like you. I was an electrician. And it was the system. That's what this guy did, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just take you through a little bit. The Ivy League radical who joined the DSA in 2017 was outed by the Post this week for making his identity as a union electrician central to his communist persona, despite never working a day on the job and being booted from the electricians union for failing to pay his dues, the union said. Silver Spoon Socialist even had the audacity to beg the DSA to make his up until then unpaid leadership position a $95,000 a year gig last month, claiming it was too much to juggle his non-existent electrician work. His comrades said yes. Yeah, and so listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Gordillo, 38, the privileged son of a Florida construction magnate, is being sued in Brooklyn housing court after skipping out on 3 rent payments, folks, of $2,500 for a Crown Heights apartment he leased while the $1.5 million townhouse gifted to him by his rich daddy underwent renovations, according to court filings. And so why does this matter? This matters because this guy was going all over television talking about how, he wants to abolish landlords. I guess as long as your father's the landlord, then it's okay. You don't mind him because, daddy will take care of you. He's not going to kick you out, anything like that. But all the other landlords, he doesn't feel like he needs to actually pay. Daddy, Pops gives it to him for free. Why can't any other landlord give it to him for free, a place to live, right? And so while his family is renovating $1 million Brooklyn townhouse for him to live in, he figures he can just skip out on the rent, which in turn then makes it harder for the actual working class individuals because now the landlord needs to take more precautions when it comes to who he ends up renting that apartment out to. And so the individuals like this Gustavo Gordillo, who claim that they are fighting, they're fighting for the working class while pretending to be that very working class that they're truly actually not, actually are doing more harm in the process. And folks, this isn't just conservatives, Republicans pointing out the hypocrisy anymore. No. Now you have civil rights leaders in New York, tenant advocates, and they're seeing the situation and they're saying enough is enough. Now let's take a look at this. New York City civil rights leader calls for DSA leader Gustavo Gordillo to resign over $1.5 million house. And so take a listen to this, folks. A civil rights leader is calling for the resignation of Gustavo Gordillo, the co-leader of New York City's chapter of Democratic Socialists of America, saying his series of scandals prove the DSA now stands for the double standards of America. Reverend Kevin McCall is demanding that Gordillo step down following a bombshell revelation that his millionaire parents set him up in a renovated $1.5 million luxury row house in historically black but gentrifying Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, as well as him getting sued for failing to pay rent in another building and fudging his blue-collar work history. The Democratic Socialists of America have become the double standards of America, demanding transparency, fairness, and accountability from everyone else while ignoring serious questions about one of their own, said McCall, a Brooklyn pastor who also assists tenants in New York City housing authority complexes. And this is one of Mom Donnie's guys. Listen, they're cut from the same cloth of that Silver Spoon Socialist where mommy and daddy, they got that nice cushion where they can go out and play revolutionary. Hey, guess I'll give this mayor thing a shot. Hey, I guess give this woke revolutionary thing a shot. Mommy and daddy I still have my trust fund. That's who these individuals are, ladies and gentlemen. And the useful idiots that you see sitting in the background, like individuals like this who are actually the working class individuals, they're the ones who fall for a hook, line, and sinker. And his father, an immigrant from Peru. Gordillo grew up in South Florida with his parents who ended up thriving in America. His father, also Gustavo, is a construction magnate, meaning he is a powerful force in the construction industry. And so his father is highly successful in this industry. His son is an epic failure and so decides to go out and play revolutionary. Yeah, and this is pissing off some individuals in the New York City Council. New York City Councilwoman Vicky Palladino told the Post, the entitlement of these rich DSA kids is bottomless. Even when his parents are paying his bills, he still stiffs his landlord. It's really appalling that these brats are in charge of our city now, when they're so quick to screw over working people and can't even manage their own lives. Not only is Gordillo a so-called rent abolitionist, a movement popularized by Mayor Mamdani housing guru Tracy Rosenthal, he doesn't even believe in housing court altogether. He says it's a mitigating harm, he said in a DSA housing justice meeting in 2022, according to the transcript. It's not abolishing landlords and rent, which are our long-term socialist goals. His father, Gustavo E. Gordillo, the founder and CEO of the telecommunications engineer firm DraftPros, which hauled in an estimated $90 million a year from high-profile clients, including AT&T and Verizon, confirmed to the Post, yeah, he purchased the property for his sons to live in. Absolutely insane, ladies and gentlemen. And individuals on the left, they're falling for it, believing that these are the people who actually care about them, who want to actually do something for themselves, when really they're in it for themselves. They're in it for themselves because it's something that can get mommy and daddy's attention right now, because it's something just to do with the time, to pass the time while they wait for the next trend to come along that'll then take over their lives. And before you know it, they'll move on. And whatever the debris that they leave in the process of ruining lives and convincing people that somehow Democrat socialism, that's the way to go. More government involvement in your life. That's what you should be looking for. These individuals should not have been taken serious in the very first place, ladies and gentlemen. They should have been laughed off of the stage as soon as they got in front of a microphone. Instead, they decided, individuals on the left, you know what, let's vote for these people. And so you get a Zoran Mamdani who becomes the mayor of New York. And you get how he puts individuals like this around him. And how these are the people who are making decisions, dictating what is actually going to happen to the actual real working class people who do need help. They're just looking in all the wrong places, thinking that what the Democrat Party has to offer them is going to be something of actual substantial help. And it's not. and New York City is basically right now, it's ground zero for exposing all of this that's going on. But that's the update and my thoughts. Now it's time to hear from you. Drop your comments down below. I appreciate when you guys chime in. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the content. For more, subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time.